Welcome all. In today's lecture, we are going to see second software development model. In last lecture, we have seen waterfall model. In this lecture, we are going to see incremental model. Incremental model is a method of software development. As we know that for any kind of software, we need to have some structure which will be helpful for us during the development. We need incremental model for different stages in a software development. As we are starting with initial data and we are going to complete the final data. So during the development, it uses some different stages. Something like you can see in diagram also, there are different increments. From initial increment it goes up to n increments. So during this development, it is going to follow the 5 different stages. And all the time, the incremental model stands with x and y axis. On x axis, we have project calendar time, and on y axis, we have software functionality and features. So all the time, whenever we are going to use some different stages, some different steps for the increment, we have to take care that whether we are on the perfect timeline. That means feature can be added at any different stages. So as we have continuously seeing this increment model, so first step, C for the communication. Communication help us to understand the objectives. So whatever objectives for any kind of the project that need to understood clearly in a communication. In a planning phase, as we know that n number of people can work on same project during the development, so we need to define how many people are going to work, whatever will be the timeline, whatever will be the duration for that, and who are the part of that particular project. That is going to define in a planning phase. After planning phase, we have modeling phase. In modeling phase, we are going to do two parts. First is analysis and then design. So whatever communications we had, whatever planning we have done, so as for that or according to that, we have to use analysis. So whatever data with us, we have to do the analysis and plan for the designing. In modeling phase, we need to take care that whatever design we are going to define now, that design will be taken care by the software developer and software tester during their functionality. After the modeling, the fourth one is construction. The construction step is one of the most important step. Why? Because in the construction we are going to code and test. Means whatever modeling I have or whatever design I have to do the coding as per the modeling so that I can achieve the whatever objectives for a particular project. After the coding part, I have to go for the testing. In testing, if there are n number of modules are there, then I have to take care that all n number of modules are working together correctly. If there are small modules, then I have to take care that is working perfectly. So as a small project, we will have some small modules, and as a large project, many a times we have n number of modules and all the modules must work synchronizing. After the fourth, the fifth is deployment. In the deployment, there are two important tasks. One is delivery, second is feedback. In the delivery task, whatever the code and test we have done, or whatever the project development we have done, that we need to deliver to the end customer. In the deployment, one more task is that our product is ready. When our product is ready and satisfied with all the customer, all the requirement of the customer, we are ready for the delivery. And in the deployment phase itself, after the delivery, there are some feedbacks. If the product is working well, whether product has some bugs, whether product has some errors, or whether product is difficult to handle, all has to taken care in a deployment phase. So in increment from first iteration, we are trying to develop with all aspects. Then in second increment, if there are some requirements taken by the client or required by the client, or some of the objectives is not achieved, then we will go for the second increment. In second iteration, that all 5 stages once again we have to handle as we have seen in a sequence, and try to check whether objective needs to achieve, whether all functions are correct or not. This process will go up to the n times. If the project is large, if the project is critical, might be the incremental model will be useful for us. So as we are going to see the incremental model, whenever there is some project which is a large project, then we can do in mini projects, we can have small and try to achieve one by one objective in different increments. We can develop in a partial way also. As a characteristics of incremental model, we can develop a project in partial, that for increment number 1. Then in first phase we are going to partially trying to achieve some objectives. Then in second iteration we will try to achieve some different objectives, so that we will continue till all objectives are going to achieve. That is also one possibility. One of the characteristics is we can decide the priority in some of the different projects. So if the customer need a product or a project in different slots, something like if the customer want some of the feature of a project within few days, and he wants some other project after some days, so the team can develop a project with the priorities. So whatever the priorities come first, they are going to develop in increment 1. Then later on they can go for increment 2, later on they can go for increment 3. That is continue till to the delivery of perfect project. So these are the characteristics. There are some advantages also. In advantage, that as we have seen, it's easy. For the testing purpose, it's easy. As increment 1, we have decided some partial outputs, and we'll check whether outputs are, if the outputs are not correct, then we'll go to check in a partial way. So with this sequence, we can continue from start to end. One of the second advantage is that it involves a number of people, so the process can be fast many times if all knows the project. At the same time, that can be disadvantage also if a number of people are working. If they are not good to clear the logic, then that might get some difficulty also. The cost is one of the disadvantage for the system, so cost can increase if there are a number of people are working. Then one more advantage is there, and that is most important. This is faster process. As a faster process, we can say, so delivery, in a delivery aspect, it's a fast process. If the customer need partial outputs or partial project, then this is the fastest model which we can provide in a faster way. So apart from the incremental model, whatever we have seen, once again I will revise the 5 steps. First is communication, second is planning, third is modeling, then construction, and fifth is deployment. In modeling, the analysis and design part is going to take care. In construction, coding and testing part is going to take care, and in the deployment, the delivery and feedback. So this is what we have seen completely the incremental model. In our next lecture, we are going to see some different models on software development. I hope that you like this video, and we'll continue our third software development model in our next lecture. Thank you for listening.